Hey guys, welcome to 1308 Biology Fundamentals. My name is Ms. Harrell. I will be your instructor this semester. In this presentation, we're going to work through some of the syllabus material together. So you will want to have the syllabus for this class with you while you go through this. It is available on Blackboard. You will want to watch this presentation and complete a syllabus quiz called Syllabus Quiz 1 before you attend class number 2. So first, just some contact information and a little course information. My name is Jennifer Harrell. I am an adjunct professor of biology here at ACC. I've been here for a number of years and have taught this course a number of times, and I'm excited to get started with you guys. My office location is listed there. It is Round Rock 3341. So that's the adjunct office nearest to the elevators on the 3rd floor. I also work in the Northridge Learning Lab sometimes during the week. So you can come and see me either before class or you can see me during my learning lab hours. Now the best way to contact me is via email. I do have a school phone, but to be honest, I don't check it very often, so email is the way to go, and my email address is listed there. I will be in my office at Round Rock on Mondays and Wednesdays from 11 to 12. Just before a class I teach, and about an hour before our classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you want to come see me in the Northridge Learning Lab, I will be there on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. That's when I grab some lunch and rush over to Round Rock. Next, we have the meeting times for our particular class. We are going to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 p.m. till 4:20 p.m. We will meet in room 3223 of Round Rock, and you should come to every class and you should expect to stay the entire time. We will very rarely get out early. Now, typically, there are 3 reasons a student might take biology fundamentals. First of all, maybe you just need a 3-hour science credit and you don't want to take a class with a lab. Well, biology fundamentals definitely fits in that category. Secondly, maybe you're preparing to take a higher level biology course, such as anatomy and physiology or cellular molecular biology. Well, this course is designed to introduce you to the topic so that you can be successful in those upper level courses. The third reason you might take this course is to pass that dreaded A&P assessment test, which we'll be talking about more in a little bit. So next, what are we going to be talking about in this class? What stuff are you guys going to be learning? Well, again, this course is designed to build you up from the bottom up. I'm going to assume that you have very little biology background, and we're going to start at the beginning and work our way up. There's several different descriptions of the types of things we're going to go over and the types of skills I expect you to grasp as we go through the semester. But in general, here's what we're going to be learning. You're going to be learning about the metric system and how to use it, some basic chemistry. We'll get into biomolecules such as carbohydrates and DNA. Then we're going to get into cells, and we're going to spend the rest of the semester inside cells learning how they work. We'll talk about things like metabolism, how cells use DNA, and how they divide. And then at the very end of the semester, we're going to go over a topic known as homeostasis, and we'll also go over the basic systems of the body. So it's a wide variety of material, but again, we're going to start at the beginning and build you up. Okay. Let's talk about that dreaded anatomy and physiology assessment test. Now, if you don't need to take this test, you can skip the next couple of slides. But if you do need to take the test, you need to understand what you're facing. And it's really not that big of a deal. We're going to get you ready for that test. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, the anatomy and physiology assessment test is an exam through ACC that you have to pass with a 70% or higher in order to sign up for Anatomy and Physiology 1. Now, there are always lots of little rumors about sneaky ways you can get around this test, and I'll tell you that 99% of those rumors are wrong. You need to take this test, you need to pass it. Now, we don't do that to be mean or to fail you out or to set you up for failure. In fact, what we're trying to do is set you up for success. Anatomy and Physiology 1 is a tough course, and you need certain skills and certain grasps of certain concepts before you even approach that class. And that's what 1308 biology is designed to do, to get you ready for that. If you understand those concepts, you should be able to breeze through this test, and then that will help prepare you for anatomy and physiology. Now the test itself is, it's computerized. It's about 50 multiple choice questions. It will be taken in an ACC testing center. And there are a number of links listed in the syllabus that can help you get more information on the test and also prepare outside of class for that test. So check out the syllabus for more specific information on that. Here are some other things you should know about the test before you go in. It is available in all the ACC testing centers. It won't be available this semester until March 19th, and it will be available through May 22nd. So if you're planning to take that A&P in the summer or in the fall, you'll want to take it as soon as you can, but you can't start taking it until March 19th. Now you get 3 attempts at this test per semester. Each attempt will cost you $10. But basically you have 3 tries to pass that test so you can sign up for A&P. Now when you go into the testing center, you want to give yourself at least an hour and a half to take the test, and you'll want to show up at least an hour and a half before the testing center closing time, or they won't let you in. So you're going to need to go online to the ACC website and look up the testing center hours. They differ depending on the campus, so check on when they're open before you go in. When you go in to take the test, you're going to want to bring your ACC ID with you and your ID number. And some of the testing centers will also accept a driver's license, but don't quote me on that. All right, here's a little bit more information on that test. Again, you get 3 attempts per semester to pass the test. You do need to wait 24 hours between each attempt, so you can't take it 3 times in a row real quick and try to blast through it. When you take the test, it will give you your results at the end, and it will break it down by subject. So if there's a particular subject you're really not getting, you can go back and review that topic before your next attempt. So again, we're trying to build you up and get you through this test and make sure you have the information that you need. Now, once you've passed that test, you may not receive your score right away, and it may take between 3 and 5 days for it to get into the system so that you can sign up for A&P. All right, next let's talk about the required materials you're going to need for this class. First of all, we have a textbook. Now, a textbook is not absolutely required for this class, but I do highly recommend that you have a textbook for reference, so that if you're not understanding what you're learning in class, you can go to the textbook and look it up and do some reading and build up your knowledge. Basically, you need a really basic freshman biology textbook. And I know textbooks are very expensive, so find the cheapest option that you can. Here's what I recommend. The official textbook for this class is the one that is shown here. It's Campbell Biology Concepts and Connections, and this is a special version produced by ACC. What they did was they took a full textbook and they chopped chunks out of it, chapters out of it, and made this little condensed workbook. Theoretically, it should be cheaper for you to buy. You should be able to get it in any ACC bookstore. It's not really available online, and there is not an ebook version for it. But it's a good choice for just a basic biology book that you can use along with this class. You'll notice that on the course schedule, if you look at that, I do list some page numbers on there, and the page numbers listed there refer to this book specifically. Now these 2 textbooks are another option for you for this class. These are the full versions of the textbook. The one shown at the top with the red panda on it, that's the most current version of the full Campbell's Biology Concepts and Connections. That's the 9th edition. The one shown below that is the 8th edition, the slightly older edition. They will both work for the class. Now, I can't guarantee that the page numbers listed in these editions will match what I have on the schedule, but you can always look things up by topic. It's not that hard, and they should be close to the page numbers listed on my schedule. Now, the advantages of getting this textbook might be that you can find an older version, a used book that might be a little bit cheaper, and they also have ebooks available through the Pearson website. That's the publisher's website. Make sure you take a look at the syllabus if you're considering getting one of these books, because there are some temporary versions of this that you can get online, and there's even a little discount code listed there. So you might check that out as you're shopping around. All right, so here we have some other materials that you're going to need for class. You are going to take notes both outside of class and in class. So every time you come to class, you need to bring certain materials that we'll talk about in a little bit, but also you're going to need to bring note-taking materials. Now that can be a variety of things. It's whatever you choose and you find effective for you. But definitely bring some paper to write on and bring something to write with, pen or pencil. You might also want to get a paper management system. So a spiral with pockets, folders, binders work really well for keeping everything together. Okay? But don't come to class without something to write on and something to write with minimally. You're also going to want an assignment folder for this class. This is a folder that I use to shuttle papers back and forth between you and me. And I actually have a bunch of folders left over from last semester, so I will provide you with an assignment folder. You don't need to buy a folder. Here's some other things you definitely want to get in order before you get too far into this class. You are definitely going to need an ACC ID, and you need this code in order to access our materials. You'll need this to access your ACC email. You'll also need it to access Blackboard. So if you are brand new to ACC, make sure you get this number as soon as possible. And if you're having any difficulty getting into these other resources that we need, contact me. Let me know if you don't yet have access to Blackboard or you don't yet have an ACC email, because there may be another way we can work around it temporarily until you get the stuff you need. Second, you're going to need to use your ACC email in this class. Technically, I am only allowed to contact you through the ACC email. I'm technically not allowed to contact you through Hotmail or one of the other services. I will send out announcements after every class, and they will be via the ACC email. So you need to get that in order, and you need to check it at least a couple of times a week. Every semester, I have at least one student that is lost and behind and doesn't know what's going on, and I'll find out that the reason is they never set up their ACC email. So they've been missing all these announcements. Now we're 2/3 of the way through the semester, and there's not a lot they can do to save their grade. So really, checking your email, making sure you know what's going on in class is going to be essential. So get your access set up immediately. Third, you're going to need Blackboard access. If you've never used Blackboard, it's really simple. It's just a website, and you're going to use this website to access all of our class materials. So notes and lectures and these things called learning modules, assignments, all that stuff's going to be on Blackboard. If you're not familiar with it, you'll need to go to the ACC website, and there will be a link that says Blackboard. You click on that. There will be instructions for what your username and your password is. You can get in the first time, and then you can change it if you want to. But I recommend that you do get in there today and look around. There are some assignment things you're going to need to complete before you come to class next time. Again, let me know if you don't have access yet because you are new to the system, and we can maybe work around that. So next, how will this class be taught? Well, we're going to use what's known as a flipped class model, or an inverted class. And what that means is that your exposure to the material for the first time will actually occur before you come to class. So how in the world is this going to work? Well, before class, you're going to do these things. You're going to watch these things called learning modules online. You're going to have these sheets printed out called guided notes, and you're going to use those notes to take notes while you watch the presentation. So you're going to fill in the blanks and add your own stuff to it. That's going to get you ready for class. During class, we're going to work together to really synthesize that information. So we're going to be doing things like reviewing the notes, asking questions, comparing your work with your teammates, and then we're going to do a number of group activities that should be interesting, and some of them are kind of fun and should really get you into the information. After class, there are going to be a couple of homework assignments that you will complete, and that's going to concrete your knowledge, and it's going to allow me to evaluate your learning as well. So that's the flipped class model. Now this begs the question, why are we doing this? Why can't we just do a normal lecture class? Well, there are actually several advantages to the flipped classroom model. First of all, as it says on the slide, using online lectures or these learning module things give you more control over your learning process. So when you're in class and it's a typical lecture, you're listening to someone talk and you're trying to write things down, you're trying to listen and write at the same time. It doesn't always work that well. But with an online resource, you can pause, you can go back, you can go at your own pace, you can review it multiple times, and those are all really good things. It gives you control. Second, doing class activities instead of lecture really gives you time to think about the topic and practice the skills you're going to need for the exams. So it allows for a little higher level learning, and it helps you learn during class instead of having to cram for the test later. The third advantage of a flipped classroom is that you get immediate feedback to your questions. So while you're working, I will be working the room. I'm going to be going around, asking you questions, kind of evaluating your knowledge, and you get to ask me questions. Is this right? Am I on the right track? I didn't understand this about the notes. There are many, many studies that have shown that active techniques such as this are more effective than just sitting and reading or working individually. So we're going to use all of these things in combination, and I think it will be very, very effective. So to make this model work, there are two things that you will need to do before you come to each class. First, you're going to need to work your way through the learning module for the day, which is shown on the left. The learning module is essentially a PowerPoint presentation, but it's interactive. So you'll click on certain things to make it advance. It will require that you click on things and perform little activities before you can go to the next slide. So you're not just reading. You're going to read and then you're going to use those skills. And there will even be little practice quizzes built into this thing. The learning modules are available on Blackboard, and you'll see a link on the left-hand side of the page that says Learning Modules. And they're grouped by lesson, essentially. Now, while you're doing the learning module, you'll want to fill in this document known as the guided notes, or just notes. And they're shown on the right-hand side of the page. Guided notes are documents that should be printed out from Blackboard. They are located under the learning modules link on Blackboard. And you'll print these out, you'll follow along as you work through the learning module, and you're going to fill in the blanks. Now you can take notes any way you want. You can write a lot, you can write a little. You don't have to rewrite everything that's on every slide of the learning modules, just the information that you find pertinent, okay, or important. I do recommend that you write more rather than less, but that's up to you. That's your note-taking style. These guided notes will be checked, and they will count for a grade. It's part of your class participation grade. So you do need to have them filled out completely before you come to class. Now let's say you get stuck on a section and you really don't know how to answer it. If that's the case, you need to come see me before class so we can clear that up. I don't want you to show up to class and not have these notes complete, because that means you're not ready for class. Now, if that just comes down to answering one little question, that's not a big deal, but don't leave whole sections blank. If you need to, you can email me your question before class, and I'm happy to sit down and work through it with you. All right, so where do you find these important materials? Well, on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a little screen capture of Blackboard, what our site will look like, and you'll see this link labeled Learning Modules. That's the red arrow on the left. Once you open that up, you'll see that it's organized by lesson, and so the ones you're going to want to go into are shown with red arrows on the right-hand side of that image. You'll want to do the orientation first, and then you'll want to go into Unit 1, and on the right-hand side of the page, you're going to need to go into the learning module for Lesson 1.1, Levels of Organization. That's the one you want to do by Thursday. You'll also find the notes for that learning module in that folder, Levels of Organization. Now, I do recommend that you do the orientation module before you jump into a module that has information in it. This is especially important if you're planning to use your computer at home. I have no idea what kind of software your computer at home has, so it's going to be important that you open up that orientation module just to see if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, you can contact our ACC IT department, and there are links on the syllabus that can help you with that. The orientation can also help you figure out what software you might need to download in order to make the modules work. So please do this orientation first, and then you can troubleshoot any problems you're going to have so we can move forward quickly. All right, so what are we going to be doing during class? Well, as I said before, lots of group work. You're going to be comparing your notes and solving problems and doing activities. Now, some of those activities will be posted on Blackboard under Learning Modules. So if you see activity for a day, you do want to print it out and bring it with you. There are some other handouts that I will provide you with as well, and you don't have to worry about those. If you're not sure what you want to print out for the day, check the announcements. I usually summarize that for you in the announcements. Now, some of this classwork will be taken up for a grade, and some of it won't. That helps me figure out where you are in the subject and what you need help with, and it also kind of keeps us all accountable. So expect to turn some of this work in. Now, just to emphasize this one more time, the pre-class work that you do and your participation in class is really vital to this process. There are essentially 3 levels of learning that we're going to utilize in this class, and you can see those on the triangle on the right. There's the pre-class activities of taking notes. Then there's the in-class activities of working through the material. And finally, the homework is there to help concrete and review that material one more time and to assess your learning. Now, the way that this system works is from the bottom to the top. So if you have not done the pre-class work, you can't do the in-class work effectively. In other words, if you come to class unprepared, with those notes partially done or not done at all, and you're going to try and sneak in and get what you can get, you're not going to get much. If you have not completed the pre-class work for a day, I seriously suggest that you skip class and instead go to the learning lab and complete your notes. Now, every time you do that, you're going to lose a little bit of credit. Missing a day isn't a huge deal, but you'll lose a little bit of credit. So you don't want that to happen very often. But if you do not do the pre-class work, you're not going to be prepared to do the rest of the work, and you are going to slow down and frustrate your classmates because you're not going to know what in the heck is going on. Okay? So you have to do these things in order to be effective, and please, please do. Now after class, you are going to have a couple of different types of homework assignments to do. First of all, you're going to have what I call the Blackboard quizzes. There is a link for them on the Blackboard homepage. And these are short little multiple choice, true false type questions that relate to each topic. They do have individual due dates, so look on the course schedule for those due dates. They are due by midnight of the day they are listed, or 11:59 p.m. if you find that clearer. And you get 2 attempts at each quiz. So you can take it the first time. It will show you whether you got the question right or wrong, and it will show you what you put. You can make your notes about this, and then you can take it a second time and reattempt those questions that you got wrong the first time. So 2 attempts at each one. Second type of homework assignment are the objectives. Objectives are like big review sheets that you'll do. And so you'll want to print these out. They're listed on Blackboard under Learning Modules. And you'll want to fill them out by hand. And they are going to be due every test day. So they're not due all the time, but you need to get them done before you come in and do the test. I do recommend that you work on the objectives as soon after the first lesson as you can. So don't leave them all 4 or 6 weeks out to do, because you're not going to remember the material as much. Here are a couple of additional resources that you might find helpful in learning the material. First, we have useful links. Anytime I find an online reference that I think is handy for your learning, such as a video or a website or an interactive thing, I put a link for it under useful links. So if you're studying at home and you're stuck on a subject and it just doesn't make sense, go look under useful links. Watch some of the videos, click on some things. You'll find that it is organized by topic, and it may help kind of break through that wall and get you rolling on that topic. Okay. Now also, under Learning Modules on Blackboard, you will find some practice sheets. They will always be at the bottom of each folder, and these are not for a grade, but they can be very helpful in getting you ready for the test. It's just additional practice. Now, the most important way that I will evaluate your learning this semester, and by far the largest percentage of your grade, will be from these tests. There will be 4 lecture exams for the semester. These exams are pretty tough. They're not easy. They're going to really require that you really have studied and worked with the material, not just a surface understanding of the material. Okay? So be forewarned. You will take these tests during class. I will provide you with answer sheets for them. And they will consist of both a multiple choice type section and a written section where you're labeling things or maybe writing a short answer thing, something like that. I don't typically use long essays on my tests just because they take a lot of time to grade and a lot of time for you guys to write. But there will be some written questions. Tests are not open book. They are not open note. You may not discuss the questions with your neighbors. There are no makeups for tests, and there are no dropped test grades. So these scores are really, really important, and you really need to be prepared for them. All right, so this sort of begs the question, what do I do if I miss a class? And, is my score going to be ruined? Well, if you have to miss a class in here, the most important thing that you can do is communicate with me. Okay, so communication, ooh, that's sloppy, is key. Communication is key. What I would like you to do, if you need to miss a class, is email me about it. Shoot me a short email and say, I have to miss class today because of blank. If you communicate with me, I tend to be a little more flexible on accepting late work. In the syllabus, it says I do not accept any late work. But if you communicate with me and you have a legitimate reason and you're not absent all the time, I might accept some of your assignments. Okay? Now, if you miss a whole bunch of classes, there's going to be a point at which I cut you off and say, no, no more work. You got to get your stuff together. I also do not accept work if you do not communicate with me. So if you just show up to the class a few days later and you've got this pile of work and you hand it to me, I'm not going to grade that. I've already graded the stuff for the other students. It's going to throw off my flow. So I don't accept work unless you're communicating with me and I know to expect it. Okay. Now, how many absences are allowed for the class? Well, you get 5 absences for the semester. You will be dropped upon your 6th absence. So again, if you're going to have these absences, you need to communicate with me. You can't just show up on test day and take the test. If you have a bunch of absences during one particular module, I may not let you take the test. So talk to me. Keep me in the loop. We're going to use what's known as a total point system for the grades in this class. So what that means is that you will do a number of assignments. You will earn points for each assignment that you do, and at the end of the semester I will add those up, and that will tell me what grade level you have earned. On the left-hand side of the page, there's a chart that shows the different assignments and the points they count for. So as you can see at the top, you're going to do approximately 20 in-class activities for a grade. These include completing your notes. They also include the activities and participation for that day. They're 5 points each. You will complete 23 objectives. That's those review sheets, and they will count for 5 points each. You will complete 23 quizzes on Blackboard. They count for 5 points each. And then finally, we will have 4 unit tests or lecture tests. Each of those counts for 100 points each. So there's a total of 730 points that you can earn this semester. Now on the right-hand side of the page, that chart shows you what that means. That means that if you want to earn an A for the semester, you need to earn at least 654 points. 654 points means that you have an 89.5 average for the semester. And anything that's an 89.5 or higher is an A. Now, 654 points is the cutoff. If you earn 653 points for the semester, then you have earned a really, really high B, but it's not an A. 654 is the cutoff for an A. You can see the cutoffs for the other grade levels there as well. That's it for this presentation. We have covered the first major chunk of the syllabus, all the way through grades. What I would like you to do now is read back over that syllabus, send me any questions that you have, and then you're going to want to take the syllabus quiz number 1. Syllabus quiz number 1 will cover sections 1 through 6. Now, after that, you're going to need to read through section 7 to the end of the syllabus yourself and use that information to take syllabus quiz number 2. These are both online. They are located on Blackboard. If you have any problems with them, let me know. Now, since we missed a day of class, we also need to get ready for Thursday. There's some preparatory work you need to do. I want you to go online and I want you to work through the orientation module. Then I want you to print the notes for module 1.1 and use them to work through the module 1.1 learning module and fill in those notes. Bring those notes with you to class on Thursday. When we meet on Thursday, I'll let you guys ask your questions, or you can email me with questions too before class. That's fine. But we'll work through that stuff. We'll do a little bit of review, a little get to know you stuff, and then we'll work through this material together and we'll have our first module complete. Okay? But please do this pre-class stuff so that you will be ready to go. You don't want to get behind on the first day. All right, thank you for listening to this. And again, contact me by email with any questions that you have. We'll see you on Thursday.